What's up? I wanted to do an update on Spire Global, ticker symbol SPIR, and how they finally gave an update after postponing earnings. And dude, the last 2 weeks have just been a wild ride of just going wee. I've just legit just been refreshing Google News and just being like, is there an update today? No. Is there an update today? And I just kept getting freaking, oh, there's been this class action lawsuit on behalf of thanks, just add FUD to, okay, whatever. But they finally issued a update, so I wanted to share that now and kind of give my thoughts. So let's see, they basically update new contracts, revenue recognition, form on late 10Q filing. So the first part, I already talked about all of these. So this is the $14 million contract over 48 months. So that's the 4-year contract that I mentioned before. Probably like 2 or 3 videos ago, when I basically said, why is Spire Global advertising the Canadian contract, which is only $4 million, when they have this $14 million contract? This is the 3.5 million euro grant, which I also talked about recently, or probably in like 2-3 videos ago. Maybe a short, I forgot. And then this, I don't remember, but I probably talked about it sometime, 6.7 million. So these are all things that we already know that have, these are all basically public information. Now, I think I wanted to go over 2 things that occurred, and basically the reasons why they delayed their 10Q, which is it's over here. There's 2 things. So one of them is that instead of having like a bulk order or a bulk injection of cash, of revenue into their balance sheet the moment they do a contract, they're going to spread that out so that the money it's basically reflected in the balance sheet throughout the period of the contract. So I think that is over here. Nope, that's over here, right? So need to be revised to remove certain previously recorded pre-space mission activity revenue from the period in which the pre-space mission activities were performed under the contracts, and instead record the revenue over the period in which data is delivered. So that's basically saying, as I said, it's going to be recorded throughout the entire contract time slot rather than at the very beginning or at the very end. I think that's a much better way to show your balance sheet. In my opinion, I was surprised that they did it the previous way, or like the bulk order, the bulk injection way before, just because I feel like this just it just feels more stable. It feels more reliable than having a one-time injection every so often, like at random intervals of time. Now, the other thing I wanted to mention was their recognition of embedded leases over here. Now, I didn't really know what embedded lease was, so I had to use AI. Thank you very much, Google Gemini. Basically, what an embedded lease is it's basically just a lease inside a contract that's not explicitly listed. So, Spire Global is saying that there are certain contracts, right, where you sign a contract for, let's say, $14 million or whatever, but there's an implicit sale of a asset or lease of an asset that isn't specifically mentioned, and Spire Global will now they're planning to keep that embedded, or keep that lease, and kind of change the way they write their balance sheet so that lease shows up in their balance sheet as either a liability or as an asset. Probably as a liability in this case, but I'm not too sure. Now, I think the reason why they're adding this embedded lease thing is because literally, I think a day or 2 before Spire Global was supposed to release their earnings, they had the Northstar company, which was a company that one of their customers that they signed a deal with in late January, I want to say. January 31st. For 4 satellites. I think this is where their embedded lease thing happens, because basically what happened was Northstar, they were granted 4 Spire satellites, but then 3 of them were basically DOA, and only 1 of them worked. So out of $14 million, they had 3 that were DOA because, as Spire says, Spire presentation stated that the root cause of the alignment issue could be traced to an improper test setup at Spire. So basically that means that 3 out of the 4 satellites are basically useless for Northstar. And what ended up, didn't end up happening, but on June 25th, Spire Global gave an ultimatum, or I guess a choice of two ultimatums. One, they would continue commissioning the satellites, and Northstar would just basically, they'd continue paying Spire based on the fees of the agreement, or, I just need to reread this. Either Northstar would approve the checkout and commissioning of the satellites despite the below SLA performance and begin to pay Spire the service fees included in the agreement, or Northstar would make no payments and the satellite service would shut off on June 28th. So either keep paying or just end the contract. Now, as a bystander and looking at this deal, I feel like that type of ultimatum, I don't like it, because you're really just burning bridges. Like, if I were Northstar, I would also be really ticked off, especially if you could trace the problems back to basically Spire's fault. I feel like reputation is really important in any type of business, but specifically space, where they have there is such a large upfront cost that a lot of times people will do their research and try to pick a more reliable company, even if it costs a little bit more money. I don't really like Spire Global's positioning. I think it'd be better for both companies, especially for Spire Global, long term, if we were to just bite the bullet and maybe charge them only for the a fourth of the satellite fee. So instead of 14.5 million, it would be it'd only be like $3.7-ish million, right? And I feel like I guess as a shareholder, yes, that would be a hard pill to swallow, and I guess as a company itself, that would also be a hard pill to swallow. But I just think that, what is this podcasting? Whatever. I just think that it's definitely better long term for the company just to maintain your reputation and maintain your customer. And if they do like the 25% of the satellite images or data that they received, then they can always extend it, right? Versus now, if you give them this 75%, and now if you kind of force them to end it, then they're definitely not going to be a customer again, right? Like, it just leaves a bad taste in their mouth. And reputation precedes everyone. Reputation precedes all the companies. So I just think it would not be you would prove to not have much foresight if you were to kind of just let this go and say, this is your fault, or this isn't my problem, goodbye. I'm hoping this was 2 months ago, right? So I'm hoping what happened was they found a more amicable way to a more amicable deal to end this problem, and that's why they're updating their embedded leases thing, just so that's what I'm really hoping for. I don't know specifically what happened, right? I'm not an insider or anything, but I guess I'm just guessing. I guess I don't really know. Hopefully this entire paragraph is kind of dealing with this problem of what I'm assuming is Spire Global assumed that they would be leasing out the satellite to the customer, and that customer would bear the responsibility of any insurance or any problems with the satellite. That'd be the customer's fault, or that'd be under the customer's it'd be their responsibility. Because if I did mention this in my kind of bear versus bull case video on Spire Global, how there is no satellite insurance company. There's no insurance for satellite companies. So when you have problems like the solar flares, or when you have problems with satellites just falling down, then you kind of just have to take it on the chin. Now, even if that were the case, though, I would understand that if natural causes cause the satellite to go down, I would understand that Spire Global should not necessarily bear the entire cost of maintenance or of recovery, right? But in this case, when you say that Spire Global is it's traced to improper test setup at Spire, and I'm assuming this was stated, or this was a remark given by Spire Global, the company. In that case, I feel like all responsibility goes to Spire Global, and I don't see how, in good faith, we can we can do this, right? I don't like this ultimatum at all. It'd be, for example, it'd be like if you set fire, like if you did arson on your own house, should you claim fire insurance? That's no, right? Like insurance companies don't let you do that. Or if someone or if you robbed yourself, right? You're not gonna be able to claim insurance on you robbing yourself. So I feel like this just doesn't make sense, and I really hope that Spire Global, I guess, comes to sense and just I don't know if just taking it on the chin and just like sucking and like taking the bullet is the only course of action. Hopefully they obviously have better people, better management on the possible course of action that they can take. But that's my novice opinion is just take it, right? Sometimes as a business owner, it's important to just, for the sake of your reputation and for the sake of your relationship with the customers, to just take it. In this case specifically, when it's, you can almost boil it down to 100% Spire's fault, then there's no really rhyme or reason to offload this responsibility onto Northstar. So I guess those are my thoughts. Hopefully it's been 2 months, and after, I'm assuming they had some type of meeting with Northstar to kind of settle things down. I haven't heard any updates on this case, so maybe that's the case. And also that the fact that they now have this update that includes a core issue of embedded leases, which I'm assuming this embedded leases thing is, of course I don't know, right? I could be completely just like out of my mind and wrong, but I'm assuming that if this embedded leases thing has to do with Northstar, hopefully that fixes it, and hopefully they maintain that relationship with Northstar, right? It's much better, like, don't sacrifice long-term gain for short-term gain, right? Those are just my opinions, but yeah, that's just a quick update. That's just a quick update on I guess the events that occurred with Spire Global. They recently went down. I guess if you want, we can look at the horoscopes of Spire Global, and we can look at their TA. Okay, so I would say actually the TA is not bad. It really depends on, again, like TA is only a reflection of sentiment and fundamentals, right? So you can boil it down most resistant point and most support and most resistance to events that occurred. For example, if we scroll all the way back down, this breakout, you can boil that down to when Spire Global was being when they did that direct offering for $12 a share, right? So this, and then that's basically what created this support line over here at $8, and like over here, right? You can see this drop off, this gap down, and this support down here. This line again goes back to that event that occurred. So I really usually use support lines, TA, as an indicator for support for basically events that occurred and also market sentiment. Now, you do see us reclaiming this support line. Obviously, it could go back down, right? It really, in my opinion, depends on what Spire Global chooses to do, and I guess how their relationships continue going on. But it does look like it has pretty strong support. I don't know, maybe they'll issue an actual earnings soon. But I mean, yeah, there's nothing really to say. We hit like a low of like 5 something, or like 605, and then started slowly climbing back up. My tinfoil hat opinion is that freaking this day right here was it triple witching, or like it was a monthly options expiration, and then people don't want to pay options. That's my opinion, but I really doubt it. That's just me with my tinfoil hat. But yeah, those are just my thoughts. There's nothing really else to say. I've just been rambling. I'm glad that there is an update. Any update is much better than no update. And yeah, and I actually do like the changes that are coming to the balance sheet and how they reflect their earnings. I really like this idea of spreading out how much you earn over the quarter rather than just having and sudden injections of money. It just seems too random for me, and I don't really like that. But yeah, after the news, Spire Global popped up. I want to say it's 8:55 in after earnings or after hours. It doesn't show, but you can look on Robinhood, whatever. I'm pretty sure it's at like 8:55 now over here. So that's a plus. But yeah, that's it. I don't know. Just a quick video, quick update on Spire Global. Take your some more SPIR. Have a good one.